My name is Winfred, and welcome to this channel where it's all about life. And today is not any different. We are discussing life live. Sorry, guys, it was supposed to be 9 o'clock, but we are in Uganda, and there is what they call load shedding. Our power has been off, it's just come back. Earlier planned was 9 o'clock, and for some reason, our power went off and we could not get on. Sorry about that. So I'm just so glad for those of you who have tuned in and kept the time. Apologies in advance to those people who felt set back on this one. We were supposed to go on 9 o'clock, but in our country we have what we call load shedding, and it's what we just went through. My power has been off, and I'm just glad it's back and able for us to have a live chat as usual. It was supposed to actually be Friday, and like I said, power goes off anytime. It can surprise you. You prepare for to do something at a certain time, and you know what? Power just chooses to go. And once it does, there's nothing you can do until it comes back. So I'm just glad it's on and we are able to be live this Saturday evening. Remember, we don't normally do Saturdays. We most of the time do Fridays at 9:40, 9:50 sometimes, depending on power. But Friday was a disappointment. Power had gone the whole day from morning until midnight, and it came back when actually I had handed in the towels on that one. I thought it couldn't happen, and it didn't happen. But today, I'm just glad it's come back and we are able to go on live. Thank you so much, subscribers. Those of you who have tuned in for the very first time, you are amazing and welcome. If you happen to like what you're going to be listening to, go on and subscribe. You'll be able to get notifications of videos as and when they drop in. We normally do Fridays, so today, Saturday, was because Friday didn't happen. Otherwise, be on a lookout for our lives every Friday at 9:50 p.m. And if you subscribe, you'll be able to get notifications of videos as and when they drop in, because it's a Bible channel. But on Friday, we do life. We discuss life. We talk about money. We talk about relationships. We talk about investments. And we talk about money and everything in between. So it's not that it's just today, but we talk about so many things. And our topic of discussion today is, should money be split 50-50 even when one person earns more than the other? Or is it actually unfair? Yeah, that is the topic we are going to be talking about. Should money be split 50-50 in a relationship even when one partner earns more than the other? Go ahead, tell a friend about the chat. It's a live one. You feel free to drop in your comments, and I'll be able to read them in every slot that I get. Otherwise, it's an open chat. You can feel free to give your opinion on this one. What has worked for you? What has not worked? What you think can really help better a relationship? Is it when you're earning you're earning more than the other and you pay 50-50, or you split 50-50 bills, or is it because you're earning more, you're supposed to foot the whole bill? So basically, that's what we are going to be talking about. Should money be split 50-50 even when one person earns more than the other, or is it actually unfair? Let's talk about it. That's what we are going to be digging deep in. Money and love are two things that can bring people closer or push them apart. Believe you me on this one, money and love are two things that can bring people together or closer or push them apart. Because if you don't, if you're stingy, you could send me off. If you don't have, you could send me off. If you have too much and you're willing to share, or you have little but you're willing to share, it could bring us together. So it's one of those topics that is exciting. So how do couples really handle money when their incomes are not equal? Is what we wanted to dig in today. How do couples handle money uh, when their income is not equal? Quality marriage. Oh my goodness, you're welcome. We missed you for a while there. Thank you so much for tuning in, Quality Marriage. And I hope to hear a lot from you. Because it's a live chat, go on and drop your comments. You said you're watching. Thank you so much. The topic of discussion is, should money be split 50-50 even when one person earns more than the other? Or is it actually unfair? So that's the topic we are going to be talking about. And like I said before, money and love are two things that can bring people together and closer, or it's one of those things, there are those things that can push them apart. So how do couples really handle money when their incomes are not equal? You could find a man has more money. Most relationships, the man has more money and the lady comes with all these other different skills. So how is money handled in such cases where the man is earning more and the woman is not, or the woman is not even earning any and the man is contributing the whole percentage? The idea of splitting everything down the middle sounds fair and right? Because if you bring in 5 millions and you bring all of you put together your money and it comes up to 5 million and you're able to split bills, everyone contributes. You bring 2.5 million, I bring 2.5 million Ugandan money. I know for those of you who are watching from other places, million sounds a lot. But in Uganda, yeah, our figures go all the way up to million, and 1 million is really not much. It could even not be enough for school fees. Those of you who have got kids in nursery or kindergarten, that could not even be enough for some schools. So in our Uganda, because of inflation, that money could not, it sounds like a lot, but it's not much. You could be paying rent of 1.5 million, and then you've got to pay bills, fueling the car, paying for electricity, buying food, and taking kids to school, fuel, there are so many needs that a household can have. But is the idea of splitting everything down the middle, to me it sounds fair and right. I don't know what your opinion is on this one. You can go ahead and drop in the comments what your opinion is on this one. Is it something that you would go for, where you split bills down the middle, or is it something that you would not even dream of doing? Yeah. This would include things like groceries, rent, debts, where you go on debt and plan to split your bill. I'll pay for the drinks, you pay for the food. Or I paid last time, you're paying this time. Is it something that would work for you? Money being split 50-50, even when one of you earns more than the other. Is it something that works for you? Go ahead and drop in the comments. Let me know who is watching in, where you're watching in from, and let me know what your opinion is on 50-50 splitting of bills or money at home, in a relationship, even when one partner earns more than the other. The reason why that would sound good and fair is because no one would feel like someone is taking advantage of them. Have you ever been with someone and they think maybe you're a gold digger, or you just want free rides, they are the ones who are always giving. Sometimes it feels that way. But if you're in a relationship where money is split 50-50 down the middle, I think that is not something that would come up. But what happens when one person earns more money a month and the other earns less? What happens in such relationships? I need to hear your opinions, guys, on that one. What happens? Say in a relationship you earn more than your partner, whether you're a lady or you're a man. Like in our Uganda today, the ladies are doing very well. They have these nice jobs and They are earning some serious money. And I don't know, I can't speak the same for the men. And the men tend to lose their jobs easily. I would say for sure that it's something that wouldn't work depending on the settings of of a place, the culture. But really, it's something that works for the Western people. They have done it, and it feels more like no one is taking advantage of the other. In our Uganda or Africa, the man marries you when he's already built the house, he's already bought the cars, he's already made that money, and you come in to be beautiful and pretty. And this man always reminds you any slight quarrel or any slight misunderstanding, it tells I could just send you off. Sometimes I feel like sending you packing. You came with nothing, you will leave with nothing. And they tend to throw away your things outside, at any slight mistake or any misunderstanding. That's where it becomes fair that really, if there's any development, anything that is done in the house, it should be done happening 50-50. You bring in, you pay for food, I pay the bills. You pay for the children's school fees, I probably pay the rent. That is if our house rent is an issue in the house, or if we have to pay rent. But if we don't, again, there's got to be a way where we meet. There's a middle ground where there's some things I should be paying for and you should be paying for. That way, you don't step on me. I don't feel like I'm being stepped on, and you don't feel like you're being used. That is what I think would ideally help a relationship where you bring in the little that you have and put it on the table, split it up, and get things done out of the way. Let me know what your opinion is on this one. Otherwise, we are discussing should money be split 50-50 in a relationship, even when one partner may be earning more than the other. Let me know what you think on that one. If both people contribute a certain amount of money, that's say like 20% of their income, but the other if both contribute 20% towards a pool money, I think it would work very well. We all bring in, regardless of how much I earn, we all bring in, say like we're earning in good big digits, like 6-7 digits, and we all decide we will bring in 3 million every month out of our pay. You'd find so many things would be sorted or get off the list without anyone feeling the weight of it. But if it's the other way around, you bring in 20% and I bring in 55% of my income, then the other is still feeling unfair because they feel like they're the ones who do everything. But that is removed if you sit down, agree, and say, you know what, we are starting a relationship. And it's very key, guys, that you start it from the beginning of the relationship. Because if you choose to do it much later, it becomes hard to do. You are so used to your old ways, changing them to something that would ideally help a relationship at times is not easy. Like in Uganda, we have that saying that a tree that was planted and it grew in reverse or bent, trying to make it stand straight is not normally easy. So it is key that some of these things you start early in a relationship, you discuss. That comes in when you're dating, whereby you discuss how will we handle money. What about if I'm not working and you're the one working? What about if you are working and I'm not working? How would money be handled? Because if for example, you and I have, if for example, you and I are in a relationship and Alexa, thank you. Sorry about that. I had set a reminder and my alarm is going off over and over. Sorry, guys. I wanted it to make sure we are on time. But again, it's late because of a few things. But anyway, say like we are in a relationship, and what they call dating is you decide earlier on when you're dating that how are we going to handle money? These are issues that should be talked about. When we are dating, there are things that we take light, all we are doing is smiling, always laughing, and it seems like it's party time, party after party. But real life is waiting. And if your relationship is going to end anywhere, serious issues need to be talked about, like money. How should we handle money in a relationship? This is what I would advocate for. And you are okay to give your opinion on that one. And I learned it from some couple that really impacted my life growing up. Uh, the woman would bring her money, all the money she earns, and the man would bring her money, all that he earns at the end of the month. And then they would meet all the bills in the house. Because I don't know, men just don't know the ability that women have got. We've got that ability to plan. Not all of us are the same, but it's because of the way you men treat us and the way you think of us that we act a certain way. If you don't show me that money is an issue, you don't involve me in the money matters, guess what? I'll act like the light head, and all I'll do will be like that straw that sucks through the bottle and just make sure the bottle is dried up. But women have an ability in them to build homes and to build strong families if you involve them. Every woman has got it. Let no one fool you that it's for some women and some don't have it. They all do, but it's because of the way the relationship is started. If initially you're getting interested in me and you're showing off as though money is not an issue, and you don't allow me to pay for anything, you don't allow me to, talk about money. I know of a gentleman whose girlfriend was trying to ask about the projects he was running, and the man said, "Stick your affairs to the kitchen because that's where you belong. The rest, leave it up to me." So the woman was shocked to hear that from her boyfriend. And guess what? She became this lady that sticks her nose only in the kitchen. And all she kept on asking for is, "We don't have this, we don't have this, we don't have this." And some of the things she had come up with to ask for, because the man really showed, like, concerning money, don't ask me anything. Just say the things that you need to run the house. So in such a relationship, you find that the woman will act like a sucking tube that just sucks you dry. Now you try it. For those of you who have not yet started going so deep in relationships before you get married, anyway, those of you who have not yet gotten married, you can try it and say, "Let us get this money. This is how much we have." Because things really do turn around. I know of couples where you start off when you're all working, and then one loses the job and stays home for about 2 years and a half without a job. That can really take a toll on a relationship, especially if that person is the man. Because men are groomed to think they are the providers. And so when they are not in position to provide, that really takes a toll on them. So this gentleman was really facing it rough, not being able to, pay for the bills or play his part as a man. And that comes natural. But if you're in a relationship that is going to be open, this is what I would say. Yeah. You go on and sit, discuss, you're dating. How would you want us to handle money in a relationship? Would you want us to everyone keep their own money and just pinch in a little, a certain percentage? Or would you want us to put all our money into a pool and then be able to meet needs as and when they arise? Because if you do it like that, guess what will happen? You will have less pressure. Say like you got 700,000 and I brought in 200. It seems like it's small, but add it to the 700,000, that would be 900,000. And the bill, I'll be able to understand how much actually you bring in. And I would be understanding when it comes to meeting family needs, relatives, because for us who come in Africa, we've got distant relatives. And so I would not come to you saying, "Can you pay fees for my sister or my little brother that has got to go to school?" But I would be looking at you this way. This is how much we have. So when my relatives send me to come and ask for money from my husband or my boyfriend, I'll be like, "He's not got any money," because I know exactly what you have. But if we don't do it that way, I will come because you're not an open book. I don't know how much you have. And I'll keep on telling you, my auntie needs some money to rebuild her house. It was leaking. My father said, "I've got to help contribute towards the paying of fees for my little siblings." And I would come up with all these reasons because you don't tell me exactly how much you earn, but you tell me how much you earn. and see if, unless something is wrong with this woman that you're getting in a relationship with, if you are an open book and you tell them exactly what you're earning, and she brings hers to the table and then she starts saying, I want hair worth this much, almost half of the pool money. That would be craziness. So I would advise that if someone is getting into a relationship, they would actually discuss money. It's a very key thing. Uh, the idea of money and love, the whole thing about money and love, those are two things that can bring people either together or push them apart. Money and love. You want, I mean, think about this way. You meet me, you trust me with your life, because by the fact that you lie with me, it means that whatever I have, I'll share with you. And if it's medical, if it's not medical, guess what? I'm cooking your meals. You're eating, and at home you should be safe to eat anything prepared without being scared that someone is out to get you. Now, if you're trusting me with the food that nourishes your body, you're trusting me with your health because you have to be with me, then why not the money? So just think about it that way before you air anything on money. I think money should be one of those things, not even splitting 50-50, but something that we all bring to the table, regardless of how much I earn, whether it's millions and you're earning shillings, thousands, it should be that it's something you put together to a pool and meet needs as and when they arise. Now, if someone brings 20% and another brings 70%, really the one who is bringing 70% will feel cheated out. It will be unfair on him. And already they would start looking at you with this other eye. You are a leech that just keeps on sucking. Because I know of this lady who was working, and the man was working, but the lady had her own business. She was selling hardware things. Now, when it comes to month end, she would still ask the husband for rent, still ask the husband for transport to get to work, and would not contribute anything at home, money for lunch when she goes off to her business. And the man one time woke up and said, enough is enough. I mean, if you're not able even to pay for your own rent, transport, your lunch at work, then why do you have to go work anyway? And he ended up saying, well, just stay home. I'll just continue meeting the needs. But one need that I'll be cutting out is that rent for the business that is not productive. That's when the lady said, I don't care what you have to say. I have to go to work. Now, really, the truth was that she was making money but was not willing to share it. So that goes to show you that even when someone has a lot, they would want someone who would, help pinch in here and there on the bills. You surprise them by buying food, paying for that bill that is lingering. Because however small, if one person is going to deal with all the bills in the house, it weighs down on them. That is my take. Emotionally, one partner might start resenting or having less freedoms at home. When you talk about let's go out, you'll be like, do you have any money? Simply because they are the ones who are pinching in all the time. They are the ones, if it's to go out, if it's to go on holiday, they are the ones who bring the money to go on holiday. If it is school's fees for the kids, it's them who are supposed to foot the bill. And you, all you do is earn your money. You ask ladies, we have that tendency of saying, it's our money, your money is our money, and my money is my money. And that is wrong from get-go. And let's be real. Money stress kills intimacy. Let's just be real on this one. Money stress kills intimacy faster than almost anything. The stress from money, it kills it faster than anything that you could ever think about. The stress of money and lack of it. That's why you see some men, once they have money, they come home, posing like they own the bank. Why? Because they have money. And when they don't have it, the money stress can kill intimacy faster than anything that you can ever. I mean, COVID was there and was killing people. In a few days, you'll be out. But guess what? Guess what? The stress from money can kill, you know, it can kill intimacy. I mean, before you know it, if the woman comes to you and all the time she's saying, I don't have money for hair, I need money for my nails. My mother said I've got to do this. We've got to pay rent. There is during the lockdown. Guys, it's a live chat. Go on and drop in the comments what you think about money in a relationship. Should it be split 50-50, even when one partner earns more, or is it something that should be, or is it something that you see is unfair on any level? Is it actually unfair that someone earns 50 more than the other and they have to split the bills 50-50? Let me know in the comments and I'll be able to read your comments. Let me know who is watching and where you're watching and from. Otherwise, the topic of discussion is, should money be split 50-50 in a relationship, even when one earns more than the other? Yeah, I was saying that money stress kills intimacy faster than almost anything that you could ever think of. If I happen to have money, there's this couple that I know. The woman was earning big money, but the man was earning way much more. And tables along the way turned. And guess what happened? Then the man was earning less or no money at all. And the lady kept on earning her, not low money, but again, not so much, but again, a lot. Yeah. And because the money was getting ridiculous money before, it worked and their relationship was okay. But then the moment the money, because both of them were marketeers and earning and depending on commission. So there are those times you would hit really a big commission, and the times when the commission doesn't come in on time or you don't get business as much. So the tables turned and the lady was getting her commissions on her businesses quite high. And this created a rift between them because each time she would come home, the system before was, I earn my money and keep it for myself to develop myself and my people. Because that's what the man had said initially when they were starting the relationship. Now, much later, tables turned and he wasn't earning as much as he was before. And then he started looking at her as this leech. And the things that had been laid down before when they were starting the relationship were, the woman does not pay for anything. She keeps her money for herself to do her own things. And you'd find the man would give her the money for hair, money for fuel of the car. But then when tables turned, he started really feeling small and bad, resenting the lady and not saying anything. And actually, he knew that she was earning because her business dealings would, transactions would pull through and her commission would come in. So really, these are things that we should not take light. If you're in a relationship, talk about it, see which one would work. I need to hear from you guys. What is your take? Should money be handled 50-50 in a relationship, even when one partner earns more? Or is it something that should be done, where you collect all the money, put it in a pool, or should one keep their money and, the whole bill goes to one person? Let me know what your take is on this one. And I want to read some comments. Dina says hi. Hi, Dina. Thank you so much for tuning in. Quality Marriage says money is quite a big topic. Sometimes we need to consider a lot of things. Here we have couples with dependents besides the couple's household. Yeah, yeah. Besides the house, yeah. But again, for me, I would think even when we have relatives, like in our settings where they are we come from distant families or extended families, because most families in Africa are extended. I would think if you added your money together to a pool and then decided what you're going to do regarding even family members, basing on what you all know is the money you have, I think that could be something that could be done. You could sit, decide how are we splitting our bills, which bills are we meeting this month, which ones are we not meeting, and thereafter you just, make a decision clear-headed, knowing that if you're going to do your hair in half of the money that you've earned as both partners, then it's up to you really. And if you're going to, not pay up on the bills, then you'll be in darkness together because you chose to do one thing over the other. And Dina says, nowadays the man tells you that I can't take care of your family, yet I have mine. I married you alone and not the whole clan. Yeah, men tend to do that. But the reason why he's doing that is because when you are starting the relationship, some grounds were not clear. That's what I would think. Grounds were not clear as to how money should be handled. Had you come off clean from the onset and said, I come from this big family, this is what they expect from me, and then you come clean on what is expected of you, then we see how will we handle relatives. Will we meet their needs? Will we not? It is foolishness to know that this kind of person has this responsibility, and then you decide to get into a relationship and push away the responsibilities that they have or discard them, because then that would also not lead to a balanced relationship. Dina is so right. And Dina says the Bible says if a man does not provide for his house, is like a non-believer. So no way to combine my money with a man, for they are unpredictable like weather. A big no. Oh my goodness, a big no. You would not add your money to with your man. They should be able to provide. Well, there are so many opinions that people have out there as to how money should be handled. Dina says it's a big no. She would not, you know, the man should be able to provide for his house. Well, if that's how you see it, I for one, I would think that even when a man should be able to provide, I always use this example where you have two cups and one is always emptying and the other one is always receiving. At some point, this cup will drain. Even when at some point it was too full, it was filling up everything, yeah, in the house. A time comes when it cannot fill up anymore because it's emptied. Yeah. When you pour yourself out constantly, a time comes when you can't pour out anymore. What happens? Are you discarded? So there I disagree with you, Dina, where you said the Bible says if a man does not provide for his house, is like an unbeliever. So no way to combine my money with a man, for they are unpredictable like weather. Oh my goodness. I know they are unpredictable. But one way to build your relationship, I think, would be if you also talk about money. If you're one with money, you will be one in every other thing. But if you're not one with money, trust me, it will be so easy for me to walk away from you in that relationship because there are no investments that keep us together. That's my take, Adina. I hope you can correct me on that one. But I think if you have invested in so much in a relationship, you'd think twice before actually getting out of it than when you have actually not done anything to better that relationship. I would like to hear from Quality Marriage. She said it's quite a big topic. I want to hear from you, Quality Marriage. So, if a partner earns, so if a partner A earns 70%, earns, say like maybe some good money, and 70% of the household income, and partner B earns 30%, the bills are split the same way. Can you imagine? I earn and I earn 70% of I earn 70% of your income, and then you earn 30% of my income, and we split the bills 50-50. The way you both contribute equally in effort, not necessarily in Ugandan money, would be at the end of the day, how do you split that money? So like if you're going to go 50-50 in a relationship with the bills, you're earning 5 million, I'm earning 500,000, and I'm supposed to bring 50 and you bring 50. So that means if I'm bringing 250, you're bringing 250 and keeping the rest of the money to yourself. How will that help the relationship? Or if I'm earning 2.5 million and you're earning 4, and then tables turn and you're earning 500,000 and I'm earning 2, but you've been the breadwinner the whole time. How would the household stand, Dina? I just want you to shed light. How would the household stand? Does that mean You leave your man the moment he cannot provide anymore, because the Bible says the man should provide for his household, otherwise he's like an unbeliever. Let me know what you do in that case. I mean, you've been together for some time and he has been providing, as it is known, he's the provider. But then for some reason, probably he gets an accident and is not in position to work anymore, or he loses his job, or he's in between jobs, like it is said. Would you just walk out and go? Dina, I would want to hear what you would say on that one. Do you see your finances? I want also to know, in a relationship, for those of you who are watching, guys, do you see your finances as yours and mine, or do you see it as ours? I need to know, guys, in a relationship, is money seen as yours and my money, or is it our money? Because that is also a different thing altogether. If money is seen as our money, it is different. But if it is seen as your money, my money, then it's again different. But if it's our money, you would think twice before spending it unnecessarily. You would think twice before giving it away, because it's our money. You are included in the fall. I mean, if it happens that the money runs out, you will both go down the drain. If the landlord is sending you both out of the house, if you're seeing it as our money, you'd all be on the street. So it will be dealt with differently. Dina says, I personally tried to be true to my partner and split the bills equally, but he was busy renting a house and a shop to his mistress, and also pay fees for the children who were not his. Oh, okay, okay. Now that is deep. That is deep. Yeah, many women, by the way, men, I don't know any man who is out there that is watching. You could come in on board and defend the men. Why is it you do that? Dina is not the only one that I've heard talk about men being unreal. I've been to salons where we do hair, and the ladies' talk is, don't ever mix your money with a man's money, because men, like Dina said, are unpredictable. They are like weather. You know, the moment you don't ask for enough from him, he will have so much reserve money and spend it on someone else. So you might as well milk them dry until they are dripping blood, or they are giving off blood. There's nothing more to give. Why? Because any money you leave with them, they will use it to look at other women. Men, come on board and let us know. I don't think it's only ladies that are on board today. If there's any gentleman, come in and defend the men. Why is it that anytime you have excess money, it's like an attraction that lures ladies, and you just fall prey. You just, I mean, do you have any extra money you think of having other ladies, having other women? Why is it like that? Any man, gentleman listening, come on board and defend the men. And Dina says he even took it as a chance to run away from me and the children, for he knew that I can handle. Yeah, men tend to do that. Any man listening in, I don't know whether Rogers is still on, or anyone that is listening in that is a man, please come on board and defend yourselves. Dina has just given us a really good illustration, that I personally tried to be true to my partner and split the bills equally, but he was busy renting a house and shop to his mistress, and also pay fees for the children who weren't his. He even took it as a chance to run away from me and the children, for he knew I could handle. Men tend to do that. Actually, Dina's story is not the first one. Hello guys, let me know if my sound is okay. I've tried to fix it, but my camera person I think has gone off. They need to come and help me get the sound going. They need to help me with my sound to get it to charge. They need to charge it, and otherwise, sorry guys about that. Power messed me up and got me not prepared. It's not going to work. It needs to charge. It's empty. It's not going to work. It's got to get. You need to take it out from behind. Otherwise, this technology that we are getting ourselves into, I think, has not worked for me today because of power. And the microphones were not charged. Sorry, guys, but Dina, thank you so much for letting me know about the sound. And Single Dad, thank you so much for letting me know about the sound. I hope I can be heard, and I hope I'm audible enough. Power messed me up and it got all my gadgets not charged. Sorry guys about that. But going back to what Dina has said, she said, Single Dad, I'm thinking you're going to say something on this one because you came on board and said sound was off. That means you were on before. Let me know your opinion. Why is it? Dina has said that I personally try to be true to my partner and split the bills equally, but he was busy renting a house and a shop to the mistress and also pay fees for the children who were not his. Even he took it as a chance to run away from me and the children, for he knew I could handle. Yeah, so Single Dad, let us know why men do that. Because we tend to think that way, all of us ladies, that the moment you leave a man with some loose money, he will use it to run around and mess up with other ladies. So guess what we do? We ask for money without regard of you. I ask for money for hair, my dad's this, my mother's this, my sister's this, my brother's this, simply because I'm not sick. I don't know about you guys. Dina said you guys are unpredictable. You're like the weather. Today, it can rain anytime, and the sun can come out anytime. Defend yourselves, guys who are tuning in. And Single Dad, since we know you're on board, go on and defend yourselves. Why do men do that? Why is it that when they have, they find a good woman who is willing to split bills and gets you to that place of rest, then you take her for a ride and get to spend that little money that you have together with other ladies? Let us know, men who are out there that are watching, what your take is on this one. And Quality Marriage says, and every time you say my mom needs that, my sister this, they birth they my brother, then issues will arise. Yeah, that is what Quality Marriage has said. So what do you do in a relationship if issues like that arise and you know you need this, you need that? Is it something that you do split bills 50-50, or is it something that the man should take on anytime it arises? And Single Dad says, and Muzare Mwale. I don't know what that would mean. We are talking about money. I need to hear. Should money be handled 50-50 in a relationship? Or even when one earns more than the other, or should it be split? Should the bills go to only one person? Or should it be added to a pool that it puts the other to rest? I need to hear from gentlemen that are out there, even the ladies. And Dina, thank you for sharing. So as you can see, Dina is already scarred and is not for splitting the money. Single Dad says men are the ones to provide.
So does that mean you hang yourself when you cannot provide? Let me know on that one, because I believe and I agree with you that men are the ones supposed to provide, but where is it written that that should be the order of the day? Because it gets to a place where there's nothing that you're going to be providing, then what happens? Do you hang yourself? Because I know of this gentleman who had this nice lady and they had their 3 kids, and it's the man who always met all the bills, but the lady was working. She was working with a bank and had a really nice job. But the way the dynamics of the relationships had been laid out was that the man meets every need, like single dad is saying, the man meets every need. So guess what? He would go to the moon and back before he told the woman he was struggling financially. So what happened was that when he borrowed money to get them into a nice house and take the kids to an international school, it was more than he could take. And then when his job was not doing well and finally he was sent away from work, he didn't tell the lady that he had taken a loan and that loan had to be financed, but he had no job to finance the loan anymore. So he hung out with his family. The lady was asking for the latest things, and the man kept on providing. Just like a single dad has said that men are supposed to provide. Yeah, it is true they are supposed to provide, but there are things that really help a relationship stand. Like, meeting halfway. You pay the bills together. You think before you spend money, you talk about it because it's going to set you back together, not as one person, but the both of you. And if you're going to do life in a permanent sense, then I think it shouldn't be something that you take light as money, because money is not light in a relationship. Once it is not there, it can break. Once it is there, it can make. Once it's there but it's misused, it can still push you apart. So it shouldn't be something that we take light. Now this woman saw the husband in the sitting room. They were playing video games until late. Then the gentleman told the kids, "You've got to go to bed now and sleep." And they went off to bed after playing a game with their dad. And the mom was in the kitchen trying to clean up after dinner. And she went off to bed, leaving the husband in the sitting room. And then when it got really late in the night, the man got out, opened the door. He had bought a big rope, and then he hanged himself by the tank, that runs water in the house. And he didn't leave any note to this. But then when it was morning, because I think it must have been the man's tendency to sleep late. So the woman thought probably he's praying in the sitting room or he's reading his things or doing something. So she never really took it serious that the husband she left in the sitting room had done something to himself. So in the morning at about 5:30, because that's the time they wake the kids up to go to school, the boy woke up to go, I don't know, to go what, and found the door open. On checking to open the door, he found his dad hanging by the tank of their house. And he shouted, and the mom heard, and everyone else heard, and got out of the house and saw him hanging by the ropes. And everyone was questioning, what is it that went wrong? I mean, we had video games at night. Everything seemed normal. We played together, and then later we had a brief prayer, had dinner together. He never said or showed any signs of stress, of struggle financially, or anything for that matter that would drive him into doing what he did. And well, that was the case. They had to cut him down, but they were filled with questions until they landed on a paper in his book saying that he could not face his wife once the bank was going to throw them out of the house, because he had not paid up and the bank was going to take the house, and he had borrowed money and he can't pay because he had lost his job. The woman cried because she thought things were okay, and the kids were in an international school. There was always fuel in the car. He never showed any sign of stress financially. So I don't really 100% agree that men are providers, because some go to the deepest length to make sure that those needs are met. And at times it's not easy. And Jamie77T says, Hi. Hi, my dear. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you'll give us your opinion on should money be split 50-50 in a relationship, even when one partner earns more than the other. I need to know from men out there and from the ladies, what is your take on this? Should Dina says it's not something she would do, as in splitting money 50-50. I don't know about you, but I'm yet to hear what your take is on money being split 50-50. And also I wanted to know, do you see your money as my money, our money, or your money, my money, how do you see money in a relationship? Do you see it as your money, my money, or our money? How do you see money in a relationship? I need to hear that one as well from whoever is tuning in. It's a live chat, guys. Go ahead and drop in the comments what your take is on that. Have you even had that conversation of money in your relationship? Let me know, because so many relationships start off without the discussion of money. So it hits us by surprise when issues of money come up. But these are inevitable things that should be discussed in any relationship. How you would handle money, the number of kids that you would have, where you would live, the kind of schools that you would want your children to go to. Those are things you talk about when you're looking to settle with a person. So like in a relationship that would lead to marriage, unless you're just passing through and wasting time. But if you found this right person that you'd want to settle down with, you need to get deeper and serious in the issues of money and see how they respond to money, because some people really take money to the next level. They don't even want anyone to talk about their money. I mean, I can trust you with my life, my health, but not my money. There are people who are like that. So I want to hear from you. Have you had anyone talk about relationships and money? And what is your take on that one? Is it something that you see as my money, your money, our money? How do you handle that? So let us ask, should money be split 50-50 in a relationship even when one person earns way more? Or is it something you disagree with? Should it be money should it be an issue that is split 50-50 even when I earn way more than you? Or is it or should it be based on income? Yeah? Should it be based on your income, that you meet this and this need because you have this much? Or, you know, you shouldn't be paying for anything because you don't have. I need to hear from Quality Marriage. Oh yeah, she's just written. No, I'll read Dina's comments first. She says men even don't want to tithe, so how can they combine their money? She says men don't want to tithe. If there is any man out there listening, in defense of the men, do you really want to tithe, or is it something that you don't want to think about and you find hard to do? Because maybe Dina is biased and she says men don't want to tithe. Probably the ones she's been with don't want to. If you're a man out there and you want to tithe and you are okay splitting your money 50-50, you drop us in the comment and defend the men. Otherwise, Dina is so much on your case. And she says men nowadays are tourists. In other words, they come in and see what it is that you have and then just disappear, having left you with a few things here or there, because that's what tourists do. They come in, see what you've got, and then go back to their countries with all that they came with. So that's what Dina has said, and that's how she sees you men. Quality Marriage says couples should prioritize their needs mostly, then it will bond and untrust than carrying a bulk of dependents that make you look like a gold digger. Okay, I think Quality Marriage should clarify on that one because I didn't get it very well. She says couples should prioritize their needs mostly, then it should, then it will bound and earn trust than carrying a bulk of dependents that make them look like gold diggers. I think that's what she's trying to say. But again, go ahead, quality marriage, and explain this one. I think she's saying prioritizing your family first than going on carrying your family members, and it makes you come off like a gold digger. Someone always asking for, my father needs this, my mother needs this, and it puts this weight on the man where he has to deal with you. And that's where one said that I didn't marry your whole clan, I just married you. I think men should also get on board on this one, because again, we need to be honest on this one and very clear. We are from Africa, unless you're watching in from somewhere else. But if you're in Africa, the way things are, you don't come alone. I have some Eritrean friends that I'm learning different cultures from. You marry this woman, she comes with her auntie, her uncle, and her nephew, and they all come and stay with you. And she's living with her mother, father, so many other dependents, and that can take a toll on the man. And unless you have a wallet deep enough that can take care of the wife's parents and you don't get yourself entangled into any marriage, because my dear, you wouldn't be able to handle or cope. So that is for the African culture. And for my new Eritrean friends who were telling me about their culture and how you can't marry except you have money enough to take care of loved ones as well. So you come off as a gold digger. That's why the Indians are doing it the right way. They become partners. I only give you my daughter, I give you my son, if I know you're doing well. That way, it is money staying in the right places. It won't be like I married you and then you're coming in, my son needs fees, my daughter needs money for this and the other. Theirs is more contractual. So maybe that would help with Katie's, with Quality Marriage's opinion. Otherwise, let me know where you're watching it from and who you are. Thank you so much, those of you who have been sending comments. I hope you can keep them coming. Your opinions as well on this one. There are so many reasons people get married. But I think, for one, that before we get that person and you say this one is the right for me, they need to be enterprising. They need to have the same goals as you. If my goal is to make sure that I drain you dry and take back home to my family where I came from, that is my father, my mother, my sisters, my brothers, my uncles, then that person, from onset, you can really tell, because we can only hide and hide so much. Not everything can be hidden. Some of these things you hide, but after some time they come out, and it can be seen that, you know what, this one is like this one is like the other. So if you're going to marry someone, sit down and talk about some of these things. And I would advise that when you're getting married, don't look at your financial position right now, because it can change. Like the weather, it can change anytime. Today you may be having and I don't, and the next day I have and you don't. Then what would happen? That is something that we ought to all think about, because when you start off a relationship, those are things that you are really key, because like I said, that money and love, yeah, like I said, money and love are two things that can bring people closer or push them apart. Money and love. Why did I add love? I didn't go deep into the love section. It's because, but the who you love, your parents, your siblings, your relatives. If you take them above your partner, it could break you apart. If you take money in high regard, it could tear you apart. And if you took money as very, something that can easily be replaced, and in a relationship you consider the other person, the relationship have a ground to stand. But it's unwise if you have to live out your life with a person, and money gets between the two of you. I mean, I know men in African setting have that tendency of saying, the man, and so I should provide. But remember, it's not written anywhere that you should be the one to solely provide, because two are better than one. Now, if two are better than one, imagine you bring in your money, I bring in mine, and we put it together. My friend, like it or not, will go very far, very fast. There's those sayings that are out there that if you want to go far, go alone. But if you want to go further, you need to go with someone. Now, if you put your resources together as a couple, that's my take. I know Dina has given hers. That's my take. If you put your resources together as a couple and then discuss what should we do this month, the moment both of you are willing to sit on table and agree on doing such a thing, it means you're in it for the long run. But if the person is not willing, even on onset, to put money together, they are really not showing a permanent sense, and so they can leave anytime. And probably that's what happened with Dina. Maybe next time, if you're finding someone, or if you've not yet already found, it should be their take on money. Don't look for someone who has already made it and you go looking for a provider, because he will provide. But when he's good and tired, done and tired of you, he will throw you out like an old cloth. And that will be easy for him, because he knows you came with nothing, that you came with a plastic bag and you want to live with a lorry. On whose account? That is what they would say. I want to read a comment. Quality Marriage says, couples should empower themselves. Hey, Quality Marriage, you're using deep, deep words. Go on and clarify on that one. How should couples empower themselves? And Dina says, now you can't develop each other, and the other day, one of you can call your partner an ape. Those are serious, serious words, Dina. Now you can't develop each other, and the other day, one of you can call your partner an ape. I guess what you're trying to say is you work together to develop each other, and then the next thing is you're abusing and calling each other names. I hope that is what you meant, Dina. Otherwise, Lillian says, good evening. Oh my goodness, Lillian, so good to hear from you. I'm glad that you've tuned in. My power went off because of Umeme, and so I thought many of you, like Rogers, Lillian, who tune in, were disappointed and went off to bed, or I don't know what happened, but I'm so glad that you've tuned in. But the topic of discussion is, should money be split 50-50 in a relationship, even when one earns more than the other, or is it unfair? That is what we were talking about. So I need to hear your opinion. What do you think? Should money be split 50-50 in a relationship, or is that unfair? The other thing I know I talked about is, do you see your finances as mine and yours, or is it ours? That is something that I would want also to hear your opinion about. Single Dad says, 1 Timothy 5:8. Let's read that part. Single Dad wants us to read the Bible now. 1 Timothy 5:8. And I'll try and look it up. 1 Timothy 5:8. I hope Single Dad is willing to explain it, because he's the one who brought it up. And if Single Dad, you happen to see it, go on and read 1 Timothy 5:8. I didn't know Single Dad was a Bible reader, but that is so good to know. And it says, but if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house. He has denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. Oh my goodness, that is good. But listen to what it says. I mean, you brought this up, it's a Bible reading based channel, and I'll give it to you basing on what I've just read. But if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he has denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. You know what that means? You if any but if any provide for but if any provide not for his own. In other words, you are in provision to provide, but you're not providing for your household. Do you understand that bit? Especially for those of his own house. So that is it. That means it's paramount that you provide for your house. Now, if that was revealed to every man, guess what? You would bring your money, put it on the table, and let you two sit down and discuss how you should use up that money, because you're providing for your house, your very own house. Now, it does not mean that if you don't have, you should milk yourself dry until you're dripping of blood while the other one has. So in other words, if you're in a relationship, this is not only to a man, but also to a woman. Because before God, there's no he or she. But again, if we took it that way, if we took it any other way that you would want to put it, if any provide not for his own house, if any provide not for his or her own house, for his own house, and especially for those of his own house, he has denied the faith. But when you're not in position to, it is not a crime. But if you're in a position to and you don't, like Dina said, that he could pay fees for other people's children who are not even his own, but again, neglect his own house, that is where it is sinful. So if you are in a relationship as man and wife, or fiancé, or whichever way we choose to take relationships now, it does not mean that you should be the only one providing. If you discuss it and you're the only one going to go out there and hustle, then you should be the sole person providing. And that means there is responsibility to the woman as well as to what she should do. Like take care of the house, make sure everything and the children are taken care of, including you, the one who goes out to hustle and tussle. So that is what I understand from what you just sent, single dad. And thank you. But I hope you can come in and explain more about what you just sent us, other than sending in the scripture. Lydian says, I think both should contribute. Surely it can't be 50-50 if one earns more than the other. That is what Lillian is saying, that both should contribute, and it can't be 50-50 if one earns more than the other. That is Lillian's opinion. Because think about it this way. You earn 5 million, I earn 50,000, and we are both supposed to bring in the same. So suppose I can only bring in 80,000 or 50,000 or 150 or 250. That is pennies to you who is earning way more than me. So I think that's where Lillian is coming off from. And single dad says, some Bibles say if a man, even when they say if a man does not provide for his family, it does not put it like you. I think where we get it wrong is if you're in position to provide and then you don't, that is where it comes in, that you're worse than an infidel. Why? Because you're in position to, but you're not able to provide. You're not providing for your household. You are in position to take care of their needs, but you're not doing it. That is why it would be worse. It will be a sin, and you'd be worse than an infidel. Thank you, single dad, for that. So for you, you're still bent on men being the providers, even when they have nothing to provide. So are you okay, single dad, saying that if you have money and your wife is earning more than you, she should still bring in 50-50? Is that what you're saying? Are you for 50-50 or not for 50-50, where whether you're working or you're not working, you foot the whole bill? I need clarity on that one. I don't know where my people went off to, like Audrey. I don't know what her take would be on this one, but I would really love to hear her take on this one. And anyone else that is listening in, let me know in the comment section what your take is on this. Should money be split 50-50 in a relationship, or even when one is earning more than the other? Or is it unfair when it's done like that? Like Lydian has already said that it's not right. She thinks that both should contribute, surely. It can't be 50-50. So what are you trying to say, Lydian? That if you're earning more than me, you should bring in 70 and I bring in 10? Is that what you're trying to say? Because if that's what you're trying to say, be clear, so it doesn't leave us wondering where you fall. Is it a 50-50 kind of relationship? Is it one where the whole bill should be footed by one person? Or is it where you bring and put all the money together in a pool where it is split to make sure all the needs are met in the house? Oh my goodness, Rogers, I'm so glad that you've tuned in. I don't know whether you had gone off with Lillian and decided to come at this time. I just asked about you and I said, where is Rogers? Lillian has just dropped in and here you are, Rogers. I'm so glad that you've tuned in. And Rogers says, good night. And Lillian, have you been on the whole time and you were quiet? I thought you had not come on, because I was wondering, where is Rogers? Where is Lillian? You guys are my greatest support. And I had not heard from you. I'm so glad that you have dropped a comment, but you can't run off to bed like that after you've dropped only good night. I need to hear your opinion. Rogers, should money be split in a relationship 50-50, or even when one earns more? Or is it unfair? Like I said, money and love are two things that can bring people closer or push them apart. And I also said that money stress can kill intimacy faster than almost anything. If that is true, let me know, single dad and Rogers, before you go off to bed. Does money stress kill intimacy faster than almost anything, or not? Because I know that if someone helped out, financially, it's like a kind of, again, foreplay in a relationship where you feel like you even love them more. I mean, they were able to relieve you on that stress, on that bill that was pending, that was weighing you down. I think financial teamwork is a good foreplay in a relationship. I don't know what you think. I need to hear from you, Lillian, Rogers, Dina, and Quality Marriage, Single Dad. I need to hear from you. Is it true that financial teamwork is a foreplay in a relationship? Or does it create silent resentment and power imbalance? Because I know men can really feel powerful if they are able to provide. But the moment they are not in position to meet the needs of the house, oh my goodness, you'd wonder what hit them. They would be so cold, you'd not know what is going on. Let me know in the comment section what you think on this one. Lillian says it should be in proportion to how much each person earns. So does that mean if I earn, I just need to know the right proportions that are right to you? Because if I earn 5 million and you earn 3 million, I'm the woman, you're the man. Should I still bring in 2 million, or should I bring in two because you brought two, or one because you brought one? I just need to know, how does it work in a relationship where it's the income scale has tipped more to the female side than the man's side? Should it be that you pay the whole, you foot the whole thing? Should it still be 50-50? Or should it be that, we got all this money, put it in a pool, and then meet all the bills of the house? Rogers says, for me, no, I'll go to quality marriage. Quality marriage says men should fight so hard and earn more than their wives, and also get to a safe place where they provide for their family. That is so true. And actually, it makes a sense that way. But as they, okay, I'll give my opinion. I may differ here or there. I think, like quality marriage, I say that men should work so hard, yeah, and earn more than the wives, and also get to a safe place where they provide for their families. That is true. But in case he's worked so hard and he's tried so hard, but still cannot beat the income of the lady, what happens to the relationship? Men tend to do this. Rogers, correct me if I'm wrong, and a single dad, and anyone else, any gentleman that is listening in. The moment the woman is earning more than a man, to some relationship, it's already a signed off deal. The man would find someone to whom he feels like he's the king, like to whom where his money, the leftover money from you can go and make him feel like the boss. Like Dina has said, that he managed to save off some money and pay for another woman's shop and rent, and ran away from her and the children because he knew she could handle. So men tend to be threatened by the incomes of the ladies. And men out there, defend yourselves if that is not true. If a woman happens to earn more than you, it's not something that settles very well. That's my observation. And Audrey says, oh, no. Lydian says, good evening, Rogers. Hey, Rogers, I hope you saw that one. And for me, I think a man should contribute like 80 or 86%. That is Rogers' take off the relationship splitting, 80 or 86%. What about if you are not in position to? Rogers, let's not talk about money in a sense where we are looking at now, where we can actually provide. Yeah, we are in position to provide. I've seen so many relationships where the man was at one time providing and in position to provide, but then tables turned and the lady is the one now providing or earning more. Does that mean I don't know where we get it from in the African setting that we should be contributing more than the ladies. I don't know where we get it from, but Western people handle it differently. I mean, either we bring in the money and decide on what we are doing this month or what we are not going to do. But African setting, the man keeps his money, I keep mine, and then I contribute just a little bit. But because you don't know exactly what I'm earning as a lady, at some point I'll be earning more than you, or I'll have more than you. There's this gentleman that got to know his wife had apartments, and he had no clue that the wife was even in the one they were talking about, until one day she forgot her phone in the bedroom and went off to wash, and the father dropped a message and said, well, the material for the other side has run out, and we think the money you provided for your brother's new truck is not enough. we could not get a truck at 35 million. We need more than that. That's when the man got really pissed and said, can my wife really have that much money after I give her transport money every day and hair money every weekend, and I'm the one footing all these things. She told me when I last asked, she was earning this much. And yet she had been promoted at work and was earning ridiculous money. That at work they gave her a laptop, they gave her a company car that was always fueled, but she told the man, the company gave me this car and they told me I can use it because they saw I was always getting late at work. So the man last heard or even knew that the wife was a secretary when she was even in a bigger position in the company than the man has ever dreamt. So the man's income was like pennies to the wife. He came to work one day asking for the secretary called so and so, only to be alarmed that the wife is not the secretary. She's actually among the people, heads of departments. That's when the man swallowed his, you know what? And that day is when the man got to know that the wife was really earning big, and he didn't know how long she had been earning that much money for. So guess what he did? He went home and they were renting, and he was carrying the weight of rent, school fees, food. And while in the meantime, the woman was contributing that percentage that was known that each had to bring in. And that broke the man's heart when he got to know that even the apartment where they were renting, because she insisted we have to move into this apartment. I can't live in anything less. People at work will laugh at me. Yet those apartments were actually hers. And she was living on some of them and building others. And the man was really beaten up on it. And it nearly tore their relationship up. So I think you thinking you bring in 86% and leaving me with the 20, with the 14, it may work now, but I don't know for how long. So we should think twice before we start off these things, because they may not work permanently. I don't see any harm in you earning and me earning and bringing our money, putting it together and using it to meet all our needs accordingly. Because then if it is to pay fees, we know where the money is coming from. If it is to do my hair, I know from how much we have that I'm doing hair, than doing ridiculously expensive hair, thinking we have a lot when we don't. And you're actually about to hang yourself because there is no way you can meet all the needs, and yet you have to keep me happy and excited. That is my take. I hope it balances out Roger's opinion of 86%. And Audrey says, I would agree money stress kills intimacy. If a woman earns more than her man and pays for bills or buys things, then the man can feel resentment and a feeling of degradation towards them. Yeah, that is how I would also see it. So I would agree with Audrey. That is my take. It is danger that is not seen from onset, but it's imminent. It's going to happen, because that it is in men to feel like, they belong, they contributed, they are the providers. That is where single dad boy came in and said men should be providers. But you don't feel that once you bring your money and, put it together and try and meet the needs of the house. Because when there is no money, you'd still feel like you're something, than when you are in position to bring 86% and today you've missed your cut. You could not bring the 86 and the woman has brought her 14%. It is less than she could pay for, but she has paid only 14 because it has been known she always brings 14. It kills. There's something it kills in a relationship. I agree with Audrey. And Roger says, I'm okay, Lillian, how are you? Oh, those two are in their own world, so we'll leave them. And James says, at the end of the day, it comes down to what feels fair to both people and what keeps resentment out of the relationship. That is what James 77T says. Jasper says, but I would say a man's money is the family money. and the woman's money is her money. Oh yeah, there are times that works, but also there are times that leads to their breakup when the man's money is not there anymore, and then their money is over, and the woman has her money. Look at it that way and tell me what you think. Lillian says it doesn't matter whether it's the man or the woman, but whoever earns more than the other should contribute a bigger portion. When you talk about it that way, Lillian, I really get to ask how many ladies would be upfront, as in saying, I actually earn more than you, so I would bring the biggest percentage. I don't see that working. It's in men to provide. Men are the only ones who would come off that clean and braggant about how much they're earning. But a woman, I assure you, would be quiet on how much she earns until you get to find out. She would never tell you, and unless they are those God-fearing women that would be honest and be like, you know what, I earn this much, and I'll bring all of it to the table, or this much. But again, the moment the money is out there that you're earning, why not bring it all out to the table? I believe in two can make it work in a relationship where you bring your money, whether it's 2 million and I bring my 3, put it together, we have 5, and see what we can clear off our lists in a month. That is how I would see it. But I agree with, I don't agree, but I have heard from James 77T. And Jasper says, but I would say a man's money is the family money and the woman's money is her money. That is what Jasper says. And Lillian says, it doesn't matter whether it's the man or the woman's, but whoever earns more than the other should contribute a bigger portion. But very few people, Lillian, like I said, are willing to declare honestly how much they earn, especially ladies, that I earn this much. And because I've found out you're earning less, I will declare mine and give you a bit more. Very few ladies, unless those that have been transformed by God Himself. And Dina says, I personally can't respect a man I give my money. Oh my goodness. That is Dina's opinion. She cannot respect a man whom she gives her money. Unless you're the one giving her, bye-bye respect, bye-bye all these nitty-gritties that come with her money. So you become her boy toy. That is Dina's take. And Dina says, Jasper, I'm behind you, bro. Where you said that the man's money is the family money and the woman's money is her money. Oh, Dina wants to hear that because she doesn't want to share her money with anyone. So, Jasper, by you saying a man's money is family money and a woman's money is her money, you have Dina's attention. So maybe you can, run tables. Lillian says, Rogers, I'm okay. Been watching and following the conversation on the live quietly. So you people have been in Kamoli or in camera, the two of you, because Rogers, I just got to know, was on when he said good night, and that wasn't right. And Lillian says, no, Rogers says, Lillian, on Saturday I'm busy. Even now, I'm not following. Sorry, Rogers. Sorry, Rogers. So you must be at work. But you made time for the live. Thank you so much, Rogers, for the love and commitment. And Lillian says, Dina and Jasper, what happens when the man is unable to provide while the woman is able? Does she watch her family go without? Jasper and Dina, you let us know what would happen when a man, because you said a man's money is the family money and the woman's money is her money. So what happens when the man has no money? Does the family go without? That's Lillian's question, and I'm waiting to hear from Jasper and Dina. As the woman, do you watch your family go without because the man's money is not coming in anymore? Lillian says if a man is not providing intentionally, then that's what's wrong. But if it's circumstances out of his control, then the woman should stand up, step up. And I agree with Lillian on that one. Though my side is really for the pool money, where you put all your resources together and then handle bills and expenses as and when they arise. And Lillian says it goes back to communication in a relationship. It's the secret, especially financial. That's the root of the problem. Lillian Rogers, you should concentrate on that job at hand. I know. Thank you so much, Rogers, for the commitment, making time even out of work to tune in. And besides, my time flipped up on me with this load shedding, and I nearly missed our live podcast. But you made time. Thank you so much. Quality Marriage, thank you so much for also making time. Dina, Jasper, Audrey, Lillian, you guys are amazing. You all went out of your way to tune in even when I threw this on you on a day that we normally don't and at a time that we normally don't start. Thank you for the support. And I still ask, should money be considered as your money, my money, or our money in a relationship? And should it be 50-50, even when one earns more than the other? I need to hear more opinions from you guys about that. For me, I would think it would cause silent resentment if it is 50-50 or in any other way handled. So like the other part bit, or the man is the sole provider, like single dad says. If the man is the sole provider, chances are it is going to weigh heavy on you, and you get to a point where you cannot take it anymore. So I think I need to hear from you. Does it cause silent resentment or power imbalance? Because men are supposed to feel empowered. They are empowered when they can provide for their families, and when they can't, they feel like, they are impaired, they are maimed, or some of their a part of them is missing. And Lillian says, our money, definitely. Oh, that sounds nice. I like to hear people who say money in a relationship should be our money, not your money, my money. Now we are getting on the same page. And Quality Marriage says some people are narcissistic. I need you to explain on that one, Quality Marriage. What is narcissistic? Please explain in detail how some of the people are like that. And Jasper says, I'm thinking if she has her own money and the family is suffering financially, then she's not obliged to do anything if she loves her family. Then she will step up with saved up money. Oh my dear, these ladies don't do that. Rogers, I don't know whether, sorry, Jasper, I don't know whether you are already in a relationship and you've seen that happen. That saved money is her money, it has always been known. Her money, if you say that the man's money is our money and the woman's money is her money, it will stay her money even when you are not in position to provide. So that is something that needs to be clarified from the onset. Any other way, you've lost it. It is hard to correct. It's like that tree that grew bent the wrong side. Trying to straighten it so that it can come from this angle to this one would be impossible. You would end up breaking it at some point, and you will lose the whole plant. So if a relationship has started off this way, it has to be kept this way. And if it has started off this way, then it should be kept that way. If it has started off this way, then it should be kept that way. There is no way you can just wake up one day and that which was going this way becomes this way now because someone is not working. So you need to look at it that way, that chances are it will be hard to correct if it had been started a certain way. And just quality marriage says, narcissistic. It's all about them. They are selfish. Now, are you talking about the one going for 50-50 that is selfish, or is it the one who is saying, my money is, the man's money is our money and my money is my money? I need to know who is narcissistic or who is selfish here. Is it the one going for 50-50 or the one saying the man's money is our money and my money is mine? I need to know who is. And Jasper says, I believe as the woman of the house, it is a must to save from money from the man, because the man may give her money to do certain things in the house unless she's misusing the family money. So you think the money you give her, she should be saving some of that and use that when the times are bad? Well, you'll be surprised. There's this gentleman that normally takes me to when I'm using that. Actually, he took me one time. He's never done it again. He took me and he said that he's thinking of leaving his wife, and he just wanted an opinion from someone who's a total stranger to see whether he should really take that step or not. And I said, what is that step? And he said, this woman, I work as a border man. I ride the motorcycle from one place to another, taking around people. But my actual job is to take pictures. I like doing photography. But right now I don't have a camera, but I would love to buy one and take pictures of children in schools, parties and people. And I started saving. I talked to this woman. I told her my partner, I told her, let us save so that I can be able to buy this camera and we be able to earn better in my line of interest. And I got a piggy bank that I let her in on and started putting in money. I thought she would put in as well, but she didn't. And I found out that she had opened the piggy bank, put in papers, and closed it back up. And every time I put money, she comes and takes it out. She comes and takes it out, comes and takes it out. And one day, until when I was fixing money, I saw white papers and I said, which money is white? Then I went to her and said, can we open the piggy bank, find out how much money that is? Because I see papers and I don't remember ever putting papers in a piggy bank. So the woman says, Tata John, just forget about opening the piggy bank. Leave it. We'll open it when the year ends, as earlier discussed. And the man insisted, went on, opened the piggy bank and found out there were only papers. And he was really furious with the woman because she could not focus on the goal that they had together, which was to buy him a camera so that he can be able to, better his life and do things that were in his line of interest. And that is the day the man felt like he had to leave her, because he had not done it once but twice. So you can think that while you give money, excess money, she is saving for a rainy day, only to be surprised that all she's doing is using it up, including even the excess that she's asking from you. So I don't think you should bank on money that you give her to run the house as money saved, because not everyone is that, selfless, like Quality Marriage has said, in a relationship, and can be willing to save it to that far. Quality Marriage says, Quality Marriage says, ago masanyalaze era abasajja bebagagaba. She says, money is electricity and it's men that give it out. So what are you trying to say? That they should be the ones fueling the relationship? Is it men that should fuel the relationships? Because it's electricity that, gets the relationship going. Be clear on that one. I didn't understand it very well. You can explain it further. Quality marriage. And Lillian says men are born providers. However, if circumstances prevent this, e.g., sickness, that should not make them less of men. Remember your vows, for richer or for poorer, was for both man and woman. Oh, that is very sweet. Very, very sweet. Yeah, I would also think of it that way. If you're going to go back to the vows, you said for richer, for poorer. That means there was not yours and mine. It all drives back to my take and James 77T. I think this is my take. I think money should be put in a pool. Say like you earn $100 and I earn 50 a week. If we brought it together, that would be 150. We would be able to afford a reasonable house. Say like of maybe, $80 or 80,000 shillings. If you're earning 100,000 and I'm earning 50,000, whatever currency we want to use, we would be able to live in a reasonable house and also be able to meet these other needs like bills, children, the food that we need to eat, the eventualities. We would be able to be in a better financial position because we'll bring all that money together. And so if there's a relative, if there's a family member that needs help, we would sit down and be like, how much do we have, honestly? And how much can we spare? If there's nothing, we're like, not this month, but maybe next month. Why? Because we sat down, talked about it, saw how much we had, and what we were willing to do and what we couldn't do. And that way the relationship can have a chance to survive. I realize people in the Western world do a lot of partnership in relationships, and they partner and take care of, their relationships stand better chances. I know they have a high divorce rate, but simply because here our divorces are not registered. I just leave you and that's it. But there you conclude matters and start afresh. That is why it seems like those people are divorcing more than we do. Here you just pack your things, or the man sends you packing. There's no divorce later, there's nothing, you just leave. So it's not registered. But we actually do separate probably more than they do, because they seem like they marry very fast. They have a high level of marriage, but also divorce is high because their things are registered. Here, not all the time do we go to church and get married, or are we married off legally. It's I like you, you like me, we move into each other's houses and start families, and before you know it, I've annoyed you, you send me packing, I leave, and you get someone else. But there, they have contracts that are registered. That's why it looks like their divorce rate is high. But I think their relationships stand a better chance when they look at it as partners. That way you think twice before you part with your partner. There is a lot at stake. And Lillian says, also culture plays a very big part in these decisions. Some cultures are happy with 50-50 split, while other men are expected to provide. Yeah, the culture comes into play where, like this, I have Eritrean friends that I've just met, and they were talking to me and saying many of them are not married. And I was wondering why, and yet they marry really young. And the men were saying, because we don't have money. In Eritrea, you have no money, you don't marry. In other words, you need to be able to embrace the girl's family, entire family. Just in case it happens to be moving into your house, you need to be in a good financial position to take care of them and yourself. And if you're not in position to, then you can't marry. And that really, kicked off very differently with me, because I'm not marrying the whole family. I know traditionally speaking, you're marrying the whole family, but you shouldn't carry. No one is equipped to carry the weight of a whole, family. Because you get married to me or you marry me, then I come with my uncles, my cousins, my mother, my father, and all those guys. If they have any needs, you have to be able to meet them. And at some point, you need to be able to also have a house big enough for all of us to be in. That is too much. You end up either stealing or not doing it at all. Getting married, that is. Yeah, so when Lillian talks about culture, I really do understand the culture bit. Guys, we are going to be concluding at exactly in 2 hours, exactly 10 minutes. Go ahead and drop your comments. And those of you who have dropped since the beginning, you are amazing. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Rogers, you are amazing. You cut out of your work, you sneak out and get on the chat. Thank you so much for always making time. Lillian, thank you so much. I know you also have a busy schedule, dinner, but you tune in and drop comments. Kate and Isaac with Quality Marriage. Thank you so much for always tuning in and watching. Audrey, you are incredible. Always helping one way or the other, or texting. Thank you so much. And Jasper, you are another good one. Thank you so much for always tuning in, watching, commenting. James 770, thank you so much. Those comments were lovely. Thank you for keeping the podcast lively. I hope I have not forgotten anyone that has dropped a comment. You guys make it fun being on here and worth coming on to. You feel free to drop in the comments any topic you would want us to discuss for next Friday. God willing, if there is power that we can do on Friday, a topic that you think you would want us to discuss, drop it in the comments. It's a live chat that you'd want us to handle on Friday next week. We will give it thought and see if it fits well, and we'll discuss it if it does align. Otherwise, it's a live podcast. Go ahead in the comment section and drop in your comments and we will read them. Quality Marriage says, when a man gets used to earning from the hands of their spouses, they tend to relax and even stop trying, a reason for pushing them to working and providing for their family. So what do you think would push a man to work hard for his family? Quality Marriage. What do you think would would make a man work harder for his family? How can you actually push him to work harder? By putting on him a lot of pressure that you have to meet all these needs? Is that, or by giving him the whole bill in the relationship where he meets it 100%? Or is it by 50-50? I need you to shed light on that one. Because you're right, that when a man gets used to eating from the hands of their spouse, they tend to relax and even stop trying. A reason for pushing them to working and providing for the family. I need to know how you can push a man to work harder, because there are some women who think the things they are doing are pushing their men to working harder. But like the man that I talked about, who hanged himself because he had taken a loan and lost his job after that, and ended up not being in position to pay the loan and maintain the lifestyle that he had gotten his family into. He hanged himself because he could not face his wife, having, failed. And that is how they lost him. All they found was a note that he could not see the look on their faces, that the kids will not go to international schools anymore, that the house they were living in, they had to leave and go off to the village, he could not face them, so he hanged himself. So I'm asking, how do you push a man to work harder? Yeah, as a woman, how do you do that? Do you push him by asking for everything that you need? And does that make him a better man? Does that make him work harder? I just need to know, because probably I don't know of that one. And Lillian says responsible men are providers and do not need to be pushed by anyone. Now, that is something that I could understand, because I don't know how you can make a man work harder, push him to work hard. I don't know. But I would agree with what Lillian says, that responsible men are providers and do not need to be pushed by anyone. Quality marriage says look up to him for everything, so he gets to know that if he doesn't provide his people, no one will. Okay, that maybe does. But does that mean you look up to him for everything, even when you're earning yourself? Because if you're earning and then you look up to him, it gets him to that place of resentment where, why is it you're working but he's got to pay all the bills? Why is it you're working and he's the one who has got to provide the food? Why is it you're working and he's the one who has got to pay fees? So I know when you say looking up to him, but does that mean you play your part as the lady and just take care of home affairs? Or are you think? I need clarity on that one. Quality marriage says, and that was a boy, not a I think not a man. That's what he said. Dina says, what makes a man being a man is responsibility, but splitting bills 50-50, then that is called roommate. Oh, Dina, you've just crowned off my day. So if the man doesn't go 100% and we go 50-50, then he's your roommate. Well, that's another way of looking at it. So you become roommates. In those countries, it works. It's actually not called roommates, it's partners. You're partners in crime. You both love this. And so you're giving it 50-50, and to them it works. I know there are places where it can't work, like Lillian said, but some places it does really work. Like, I don't know if you have ever traveled out of Uganda and tried to live outside Uganda, especially in Europe. Those people, there's no way you can manage unless you are born rich. You are better off with a partner. Life is easier that way. It is designed that you can be able to survive and make it if you are partnering. One pays the bill and another one, you split bills, literally, if that's the way I can put it. You split bills. You pay for food, I pay for electricity. You pay for the car, I pay for the telephone bill. I pay, like that. It just works better that way and makes sense. Oh, so Quality Marriage was saying that was a boy, not a man. Real men fight. They fight to make sure their families stand. That's what she's trying to say. And Lillian says people should stop competing with others and live within their means. That man's family lost a father and husband. That is very true. But because we want to keep up appearances, the man kept on proving to his family that he was doing okay, that everything was okay, and yet it wasn't. It comes back to the point you said, Lillian, of communication. When you don't talk with your spouse, let them know exactly how much you earn so that you can live and spend within your means. Really, you can end up being the one who hands him the rope that he puts around his neck and hangs himself. You thinking that you're pushing him into becoming a real man. And guess what? He dies. I know a quality marriage says that was not a man, it was a boy. That real men fight. Well, he hanged himself and he was someone's husband, a father to some kids. Yeah. Quality marriage says, yeah. And quality marriage says, Dina, you're right, girl. So you two think that works. Anyway, yeah, if that's what you think. And Jamie770 says, this was interesting. Quality marriage says, yes, Lillian, you're right. And quality marriage says we should live within our means. But it comes to that place where we have to keep up appearances, where we are living beyond our means. Really, you're earning uh, 1 million and you want to live in a house of 1.5 million, and you have kids to take care of, the extended relationships that we always carry. And you want to fuel that car, buy this, buy the other. Living within our means would really keep us on the straight and narrow and would be okay. But that's normally not what happens. Like I said, guys, we have clocked 2 hours. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And we meet again next Friday. But before we close off, I want to also inquire from you, what would be the topic of discussion for next Friday? What would you want us to discuss? You can drop it in the comment section and I'll be able to read it and we'll discuss it if it is discussable. Otherwise, thank you so much. Dina, Quality Marriage, Lydian, Rogers, Jasper, Audrey, you guys have been a great sport. And thank you so much for making the time. Even when we switched up on time, you hung in there and still found the live and were able to join and stay up to this time. And even when we flipped up on days, because still this has been an issue of umeme, thank you so much for the spirit that you've shown and been here until the end. Otherwise, if there is not, yeah, Lillian says that has been a good discussion. Thank you so much for making it interesting. And where do we send our suggestions for next week's topic? You can send it in the comment section right now, or you can send it after the podcast, and I'll still be able to read and then consider it for next Friday. Otherwise, you have been amazing and interesting to chat with, especially you making it on time, despite the fact that our power kept on going on and off. My gadgets gave up on me, but you didn't. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm waiting to see some topics that you're suggesting for next Friday, if there is any. And if there is not, then I'll find them in the comment section after the podcast. And Lillian was asking where we should send the comments. You can drop them in the comment section right now. I'll be able to read them, or you can send them in the comment section after the podcast. We would still be able to receive them and consider them for next Friday. Otherwise, next Friday will be on Friday at 9:50 p.m. if all goes well and there's no load shedding. It's a thing that is happening a lot. I don't know where you guys were watching from, but that's been an issue lately. And it's what has been keeping us from actually going on. And Lillian says I should have a word with the electricity board. I hope they have heard. You guys need to fix this up and keep us from having these constant load sheddings. Thank you so much, Lillian. They've just heard your voice. They don't need to hear from me. You are good enough. And I'm hoping they'll do something about it next Friday and we won't have to delay or be delayed in any way. Otherwise, guys, I'll wait for the comments in the comment section. I like the way Dina has said it. She said, now the time I spend looking for a 50-50, then that means that I can't cook for you food. Because she's busy looking for the other 50 that she has to pay in as a contribution. She won't be cooking food. So I hope whoever is going out with dinner, I hope whoever is planning to go out with her knows exactly what her expectations are. If she's paying, she's splitting bills with you 50-50, no cooking food, because she needs to look for that 50 that she's going to bring to a relationship. I hope you have heard. And Lydian says we'll send suggestions later. Okay, my dears, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for subscribing and waiting in up to this time. Until next time, when we do another live chat, Quality Marriage, don't forget next Friday. Dinner, don't forget. Lydian, I hope you will not be in the vents. And Rogers, I hope you will still come in on Friday. You'll be free on Friday. Audrey, I hope you keep time. Jasper, thank you so much. Bye bye, guys, and stay blessed.